You're doing it.
Yeah. All right. So let me excuse myself from the office to a better place. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's fine. Yeah, we can go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, maybe I put on my mind. All right. Good morning. As I said earlier, my name is Peter Dominion, a colleague of
Okay.
Jude. Yeah. So
Okay.
we are trying to start up a company. So it's a tech company actually. So at the moment we are in our registration phase. That's the CAC phase. We are looking to see how probably as time goes on after the registration we get our probably get a grant because it's a big kind of well based on our how's it called now, our master plan is going to be big and it's going to take a while, a long time. So we're trying to see if we can, because there was a recommendation of having a trademark, registering the business and having a trademark. So want to know because I spoke with my colleague and he actually said okay that he knows someone who actually have been talking about this on how it's actually going to help us. So he can share my few contacts with me. So that's one. Secondly, I want to know. I guess he told me you're a lawyer, right? Okay. So I also
Yes, I'm a
want to
lawyer.
know. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I say yes, I'm a lawyer.
Okay. Yeah, also want to know if you do all those contracts and agreements kind of.
Sure.
All right. So I also want to know how your package is, all this your one-offs, if it's a retainership, how do you charge?
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So
That's it.
okay. So you're done. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No problem.
You're done?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, please.
Okay, okay. So basically, what I do, because I'm a startup lawyer. So what I actually do is that I have a wholesome legal package for startup founders. Because
Yeah.
I've discovered that one-off services is not the best for startup founders. I've had situation where you register a business for someone, tomorrow they come up, they're having IP issues, intellectual property issues, or maybe one of the co-founders is having issues and they are looking for what do I do? Should I remove him? Should I not remove him? Is there legal implication of removing him and all? So with all of those issues, I just decided to come up with a package which I call the legal launch package. The legal launch pad package.
Okay.
This package takes care of every every legal aspect of that particular business. It takes care
Okay.
of structuring at CAC, equity distribution, takes care of articles of association of the company, takes care of brand protection because when it comes to trademark protection, it's not just like we already see with happening with Paystack and all. It's not just doing a trademark registration. I do what I first of all conduct what I call the IP audit.
Okay.
IP audit is to evaluate every aspect of your business. Every aspect of your business to be able to, because you know that when it comes to intellectual property protection, trademark is just one of the IP protection. There's patent, there's copyright, there's industrial
Yeah.
designs. So we have to take an evaluation of what your startup is all about. For instance, Apple will have to protect the design of their phone, which is totally different from every other design in the market under industrial design. there are codes and all of that that makes them different. The who just the way iOS is
Yeah.
have one protected under copyright. Then another part is the word itself, the info and the logo that comes under trademark. So that's the same way a startup may have different aspects of their business that need to be protected. So, and also from the same paystack issue, we have to know what is, you can say yes, it's a tech company, but what's the tech company into actually? What is the immediate business objective? And which one are they planning on venturing into? So that we'll be able to know all the classes that need to be protected, right? Then we want to look at who are going to
Yeah.
be your stakeholders, who are going to be the parties you'll be doing business with. Either it's your co-founder, employees, investors, advisors, third parties, app developers, whoever, we think everybody involved to be able to come up what is the right agreement that we're supposed to draft to, to guide your relationships with all of these people. Look at, this is a tech company. Obviously, you'll be dealing with technology and all. You have a website, social media platforms, and the rest. That's where
Yeah.
policy come, policies comes in, and even your employee policies too. That if you are hiring employees or independent contractors, then tech company, what's the business objective? Does it need business licenses and permits? Does it need those permits so that we'll be able to know who are your regulators? You need to know who are your regulators, and then we arrive at the regulations and all of that that you need to comply with.
Yeah.
And then maybe look at legal risk. What is the usual legal risk that your company is prone to encounter along the way? Then we'll put legal structure in place to curtail that, because sometimes you may not be 100% sure, but at least you have to do the minimal to put the legal foundation. So that's what I just look at in my legal launchpad. And because it's a
Okay.
wholesome legal protection package, usually depending on what the business is about, it
Okay.
ranges from 600 to 1 million, 600 to 1 million,
All right.
depending on what the business is about. So that's why that part of audits, so most time I have a link, this thing, a Google form that I'll need you to answer for us to arrive there, or just have a clarity section. This is my clarity session is paid actually, because it will be both of us sitting down and doing the work. Like we'll tick it off one by
Okay.
one. But I just wanted to get to know you, just like you're asking me the question. Maybe I'm answering it now, and
Yeah.
you have already taken parts. You've already done your CSC registration, so that's fine. How many million shares is that?
Well, we've not done. It's actually still in process, but for now, I think it's going to be 3 million and above.
But you've already engaged someone for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we could have done it even well before now. What happened was we had issue with name. The name which we picked was actually being used by someone. So we have to still go back again and try to look for another name for name reservation. So that's actually why we were held a bit
But did you,
for
even when the person chose the second name, did you do a trademark search?
uh, I'm not sure of that, but I've asked someone to do it. That's one of us, one of our team member, which said we searched. He said there's no. I can't say for trademark search actually. Let me not conclude. You just searched for the name and there is no one bearing there's no company bearing that name. But I don't know for the trademark.
Okay, so
I
that's
don't know.
part of the thing I also help you with. When it comes to a tech company, there are three basic search you have to conduct.
Okay.
The domain
All right.
search name, because definitely you're going to be running a website. The domain search
Yeah.
name, then trademark, trademark search, trademark search. When it comes to CSC, all that they are doing, CSC is just to give you a license to give you
Yeah.
brand protection, exclusive rights over a particular name that no third person can register it. And with the recent events happening around, you will see that people most times have a different name, a different brand name from what is registered at Corporate Affairs Commission.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to, like, for what you have on ground, you're supposed to have one identity. So most times we conduct a trademark search. Why? Because trademark registry. Because what it means registering at CSC, and we want to do it, someone have registered that name. What it means is that that name will not be available to you. But if you're comfortable with having a trade name that is different from the name that you registered at CSC, then it's fine. Then it's very, very fine. But most of the fintech we are working with, I see that they want to maintain one brand identity,
There's
both
one
at
brand.
CSC
Yeah.
and at trademark. So that's why
Trademark.
before we even register at CSC, we do also a trademark search.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But you've already done
Okay.
your domain search.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
You've already done your domain name search.
Yeah, for domain name, there's none with that name actually for domain name.
Good. So
But sure.
maybe there'll also not be, but you can't really be sure until we conduct that. So
Okay.
that's basically what I do to give startup founders a wholesome legal protection.
Yeah. So well, that this package is actually an annual, right? For annual.
It's-
The I said the package, the amount, the figure you gave, the 600 to 1, that's an annual subscription.
It's not an annual subscription because I'm setting you up. Do you get? We are setting up.
Okay.
So we are setting up
Okay.
in the sense that it's just like, of course, the way you are building, you build a structure or something, a complex or something. So I'm setting you up. You have taken care of business registration. That's fine. So we go over trademark. What does brand protection mean for you? Which one? So we are talking within like all of these things. Suppose I sort it out within 30 working days, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I go through your conduct the searches, IP audits on every aspect of your business, conduct searches, do all your protections depending on which classes that your business objectives are falling under. Then we move
Yeah.
on to contracts. We draft contracts for everybody, even if those people are not on ground yet. We draft contracts, any contract you're going to have with your independent contractor, employees, whichever one, we draft all of them one by one. Then I don't know yet what your business is about. If there's a need for licenses and permits, we acquire
Yeah.
those ones and we draft employee handbooks and the rest. So once I am done with this, that means you are ready to launch. You are ready to set out because
Okay.
now I've organized your data room. You have you have all the documents that protects your legal foundation that your investor will want to see. So we set that aside. I don't know when you want to seek for funding. So immediately I set it up within 30 working days. I am working with you for the next 3 months. For the next three
Okay.
months to guide you as you start applying those things I put on ground for you. If you are going to also seek for funding and you need me to sit in the meeting or to preview whatever it is that the investor is proposing. Maybe they wrote to you, giving you the terms and conditions. So we evaluate to see which is to your own advantage and the implication of giving them equity or whatever it is they are asking in return for the funds, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So now, maybe when you go for your first round of funding, of course, you want to implement that, whatever before. So within that 3 months, you have stabilized, you have known, you have gotten basic because you also get access to have a training, training videos on all you need to know about legal foundation. So by that time, you have even turned to a master in knowing what legal foundation means for your own startup. So even if you need me to, maybe you have a team too, you need me to come to, bring awareness on how do you do how do you tighten all the loopholes so you not have legal risk in your startup. How do we manage data? Because of course you're a tech person. You will definitely be requiring
Yeah.
people's data, and we need to comply with data privacy laws and the rest. All that's
Yeah.
although I draft most of that in your employee handbook, so you have to read through to get. So once we have worked for this, okay, 30 days to set up, 3 months to work with you. Once we are done in these 4 months, you will not need to be involving me always, unless
Always.
you
Yeah.
have the thought of you want to retain my legal services so that anytime you need me. But because you are setting out, I don't know if that is a good option for you now to just keep me on hold, to be paying legal retainership. But this one that we are starting out with already grants you access to legal advisory support for the next 4 months.
Hmm.
So you are now afterwards, you now decide whether you want to retain our services like maybe yearly, 6 months, and the rest. But these 4 months, everything you need to know, every guide you need, you're going to get it.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I love this the package actually. Actually is enriching and encapsulating of I think whatever someone needs to actually start up. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't know, at the moment, we have founders, the founders of the let me say the company. So it just happens that the founders of the company, that's those who have the ideas in place,
How
are
many?
not three.
You said
There are three.
three
Three.
founders.
Yeah, there are
Okay.
three founders.
Okay.
So it happens that the three founders are not into tech. Like what I mean into tech, like they're not
Okay.
they're not programmers, they are not software engineers, but they are going into the technology. The reason is because in their own field, they've seen like a need and they want the technology to come solve the need. So they are now bringing in someone. We're now bringing in someone into the team who will actually now be like the software developer and everything, to someone that will do the back end of, yeah. So me as the let me say registration and the startup and everything is going on, we want also the developer himself, that whole person who write the codes and everything, to also go ahead or start up his own work. Not we don't want to wait till everything is okay before we start talking about writing codes and everything. It will take time. So the person actually is also asking for an agreement, where a legal agreement where he will come in, even though he is also talking about equity. He would like to have an equity in the um, company and all things. So that's why we actually need, let me say, sort of an illegal advisor, someone also who probably advises, and also someone who is also into, we actually trying to get that, speaking to one or two people who are into technology and people who are also into finance, accounting, so that we'll know if you're giving equity, how much equity will he have? Because we have to also share that with investors. Investor needs to come in. How many percent are we giving him? How many percent are we giving the investors? All those things. So at the moment, I think now we actually want him to start work. We want him to start work, but he needs something legal to start the work. So I don't know if you can advise on this, because that's even the main reason why I actually talked about if you also do a one-off on legal agreements and contracts. Yeah, the my question. I'm done actually.
How many persons are the shareholders in the how many shareholders do you have on it?
Well, shareholders, it's still the three. It's still the founders are actually the shareholders at the moment. Currently, no much money has been
How many
spent,
shares
but it's
each?
not. Uh, well, all of us have about 33.3%. Like we shared, let's say the 100% into three. And that was what we did, because it's just a startup, and even though we've not really looked for investors yet, we want people to, at the moment, we want people who will invest in their skill first. You know, let people who have the skill invest it. We can now maybe sort of monetize it, or give it a sort of equity or shares. Before now, we'll bring in people who will then invest in, let's say, funds and other things. Yeah.
You already have a lot of legal issues on ground. Um,
Yeah.
my suggestion, my suggestion is, if you can tell the person that is doing your CSC registration to hold on first, not to submit it yet, not to
Okay.
submit it yet, because yes, I don't know what the agreements or arrangement is between you and other founders, but you guys need a solid co-founders agreement before you even register for CSC.
Let me see.
Do you
Okay.
understand?
Yes.
Because immediately you impute everybody's name on that CSC and allot shares to them, you know that it's hard for you to take those shares from those people.
Yeah. That's true.
Those shares you allotted to them, and I don't think you have the agreement right now that protects the interest of the company and what happens in events that any founder wants to pull out, or that some found, because people are what is the provision for when maybe one or two founders are doing their best, inputting resources and time into the startup, and one person becomes dormant? And what happens about the shares? Is the shares there a cliff period, being that your rights to these shares accrues to you after a particular period? After a particular period, when you have shown commitment to the startup for maybe 2 to 3 years, maybe you get 5% of that shares, or later you now get 10, which is one of the strategies to build commitment. The excitement is high right now.
Yeah.
All of you are excited to set up the company. So there are a lot of legal issues people are not considering now. But because we have not done the legal audits for me to give a full legal advice, but once this,
Yeah.
my concern is the business registration you are already going ahead to register. Once it is registered, there's going to be controversy about those shares. I know for a fact, I already have so many cases on ground. Some is either that some of the co-founders are inactive, they're not even showing up. Some, they traveled out of the country. Now they are asking, what of the shares we gave them? How do we take it back? What is going to happen? I'm the only one carrying and shouldering the responsibility in this. What do I do? And shares becomes the property of a person. That means unless the person sells it or gives it out, it becomes that person's property. And at this
Yeah.
stage, you will not want to be going to court. You don't have that time and resources to do that. So now is the best time to put all the structures in place. What happens when a founder wants to sell their shares? What if they want to sell it to somebody that is your competitor, or somebody that you know that their own interest does not align with what you are doing? What is the provision on ground? So my own advice is, tell the person that is doing your CSC registration to hold on first, that there's something you are considering. You should not submit it.
All right.
First. Then maybe when you talk with Jude or other co-founders, to alert
Yeah.
them of these legal issues that we have raised.
All right.
Issues that we have raised. And if you decide on whether you are going on with my package, then we come down to have a thorough legal clarity section. That's over 1 hour.
Okay.
Then we sit down to evaluate. So it's going to be a thorough evaluation. Then if you are, most times, some of the co-founders will want me to sign a non-disclosure, because you are going to disclose what your startup is all about. Like, we're laying all cards on the table. All cards laid on the table, present plan, future plan, whatever it is. Although, yes, normally legal, when it comes to working with a lawyer, most time you don't need a non-disclosure agreement. Why? Because by ethics, we are bound to protect the secrets and everything of our clients. But most times it makes founders comfortable when we sign a non-disclosure, but that's fine. So anyone that's comfortable with you is fine
Yeah.
by me. That's if you already have a non-disclosure agreement that we still don't have to have as draft one. So when we have agreed, when you meet with your team and you have assessed all these legal issues and decide that we are to work and go along, then we schedule our clarity section. The clarity session is part of that package.
Okay.
So we go into the clarity section, we now sit down. It can take 1 hour or plus, depending on what the legal issues are. We will itemize everything. I will itemize everything. I will give you the legal advice, guide you through what you need to think about, tell you all the things that we are putting in place. When, because people are three, because sometimes, you really need the co-founders agreement because you are three.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
three people are not in agreement over something, that can be disastrous. So,
Hello.
decision. You can make your decision. You can make your decisions that
Sorry.
this is what we're going along with. So that's basically it. I say when we have this section, then you can come to a conclusion on what exactly you want, bearing in mind the structure you are building, right? That you want it
All right.
to stand the test of time, and not when you have launched, then you start having legal issues.
All right. All right. All right. All right. So I think, in fact, talking with you is
Even
already
the person that even the developer that is asking for equity.
yeah. Go ahead, please.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I said even the developer that is asking for equity, we also evaluate that. We also have to evaluate that at what point he will be getting that, and what's the extent of his responsibility in the startup. Because we always have issues with those developers that's always looking for percentage in startups.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we'll hear what he wants and what he's doing for your startup, and to what extent he's engaged with your startup, and we'll draft the right agreement with him.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I think
Yeah.
talking with you is already. I've already gotten a big legal advice at the moment. So
You're
I will
welcome.
meet them.
It's because thank God it's because people are, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I will actually meet them up. That's
It's
my own
fine.
thing. Yeah, I'll meet them up. I'll discuss this with them. As you recommend, also, I'll actually also talk to.
Okay.
Not even made payment for the CAC registration yet. We've not sent the person the money yet. So I'll also tell the person to just hold
Oh,
on it. We are done deliberating with that's the three of us, then we'll get back to you. I have your
yeah.
contacts now. We'll be keeping you posted on
Okay.
anything. Yeah. So
It's
thank you so
fine.
much. I really
Okay.
appreciate
Yeah.
it. It's actually fruitful.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're
All right. Do
welcome.
have a good
I
day.
love the feedback. All right. Thank you.
It's actually nice. That's just true. I'm not. I've been looking for something like this. Someone who will really guide you, because I know to every business you're starting up, even though if I even the kind of work I do tell people to, even though you want to sell granules by the roadside, there are legal things you need to know about selling those granules.
Exactly. Ah,
Yeah, not
if
to
if all
we.
founders if all
Mm.
founders are thinking like you, will not be having problem.
Well,
Will
yeah,
not be
I know
having
that.
problem because most founders, they want to launch first, like just launch fast and crash fast. Then when
No,
regulators start coming, then they will not start saying, please, can you do this thing fast, fast, please? But at that point, sometimes there's nothing you can actually do.
yeah.
So it's
I
it's
actually
regarding to
also,
my heart.
yeah. Mm. I actually also learned from my dad. Those are some of the mistake, those old people did some time back,
Wow.
where they will start up a business, maybe they will bring in their brothers or what to come in to take. At the end, the business is nowhere, no money. In fact, the business cannot even sustain itself. Not to talk of even to
Did that.
like
My own dad.
actually learned. Yeah.
Yeah, I get, I get.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
fine. So do I have your permission to share this video? I can blow your name. I can blow your name if you don't want, because
Okay.
that's part of, if you follow. I don't know whether you have checked me out on IG. That's part of the awareness we are creating for
Uh,
founders to find out more. But I can blow your name if you're not comfortable, and then maybe afterwards you can
all
share
right.
your review with me. So thank you so
All
much,
right. No problem.
Dominion.
All
All
right.
right,
I really
thank you.
appreciate
Okay,
it. All right.
welcome.
Have a good day.
Bye. You too. Bye.